Enjoy the session.
Good afternoon. I think it is time, more than time, a little bit late, in fact, to start the session. My name is José María Carazo from the National Institute of Bioinformatics, ELIXIR, Spain, and National Center for Biotechnology. And the topic of the session, as you very well know, is how to establish relationships, collaborations with regions of outside of Europe, and in this particular case, being in Spain, the obvious region was Latin America. So we are going to have a mixed session in which there will be people in the audience and there will be also people remote. I should say that besides being a session to update you on how we are in this collaboration with Latin America, it has also a sad memory, if you want, in memoriam of two people. One of them was Osvaldo Treyes, who was one of the node directors and died in January this year. And another one was Alan Orozco, that had one of the coordinating positions in the Spanish National Institute in the past and was one of the first victims of COVID. So with thinking in these two guys, we are going to analyze which is the situation in Latin America. And we do that from the position that European research infrastructures really have a mandate, a European mandate for internationalization outside of the EU. And the issue is not to tell anybody what to do. The issue is really to work together, to learn together, and to see if we can do things better. So in the case of Latin America, you are going to see that we are contacting and connecting with the societies there, with the people there, and then there will be a break, and we will try to go from the generality to the concreteness and to have chosen two topics that we think that could be of interest to any region in the world, I mean, such as data management and training, and we would have two presentations on them. After that, we will have half an hour of open discussion. There will not be this discussion after each of the talk, but it will be a general discussion at the end. And also, the single microphones that work for questions are those that are in the middle of the room. So with that, I don't have much more to do for introduction, and I give the floor in a remote manner to Andrew Smith, ELIXIR Head of External Relations.
Thank you, Jose Maria. Hopefully everyone can hear me and also see my presentation. I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person at ECCB this year. Many of my colleagues are there, so it's still a good opportunity to discuss in person with attendees at the ECCB conference. And I'm also really happy to be introducing the virtual attendees as well to ELIXIR. So what I'll try to do in this session is just really give you an introduction to what ELIXIR is as an organization. I'll talk a little bit about the structure, a little bit about the reason why ELIXIR exists, and then I will talk a little bit about some of the services and opportunities to engage and get involved in future. And then you'll hear from two of my colleagues later who will talk to you in more detail about data management and training as well. So I'm really excited to be here with you and also to follow on in the discussions and after the meeting as well, so we can see how we can continue to collaborate and make sure that we're discussing and working together on topics around the world relating to data management and training. So let me first try and explain why ELIXIR was created. Now, this slide here should give you an idea about some of the data management challenges in the life sciences. And I assume that these are global challenges that you are all well aware of, whether you're based in Europe or Latin America. We know now through high throughput technologies that huge volumes of data are being generated. so much so that it's impossible for any one organization to manage the data deluge. And it's necessary to come together across countries to be able to try to tackle these data volumes and make sure that we harness the opportunities that they bring. But it's not just the volume of data that matters. In bioinformatics, I think we'll all agree that the diversity of data is a major challenge as well. And being able to integrate different data sets, data from different technologies, or in different scientific domains will bring us real knowledge in future. And so it's important that we can work together across countries to be able to make interoperable data sets from different data types and disciplines and domains. And what's also a really important driver behind the creation of ELIXIR, and I think is a really relevant point for today, is the fact that in the life sciences, the data are being generated across the world. So these technologies that generate the data, the expertise in managing it, it's not just limited to one country or one lab. There's actually hundreds of thousands of researchers all around the world that are generating data, that need to access data sets from different researchers and research groups. And so because of that, we also need, especially when it comes to standards, to work together jointly as well. And then, of course, one of the other reasons for ELIXIR being and trying to coordinate at the European level is also the need for each country to be able to store sensitive human data locally as well, so that access can be provided transnationally, but still the sensitive data remain in the jurisdiction in which they were generated. So they are some of the challenges that we see in Europe when it comes to life sciences. And I'm sure that there are also global challenges as well that our colleagues in Latin America will see in their labs and university departments and research institutes as well. But they also bring us opportunities. So if we look at the value of open data, for example, so we did a study recently where we tried to understand small to medium-sized enterprises, so companies, and how they use and rely on public data. And what we saw was that 76% of the 50 companies we surveyed felt that without access to open data in the public domain, that company wouldn't be able to sell their product or service. So despite the challenges that exist, we know there are also huge opportunities, and the role of a public infrastructure, in the case of ELIXIR across Europe, is really fundamental in trying to help generate new knowledge and also lead to new innovations and developments as well. So if we look at what ELIXIR is, so we're an intergovernmental organization. You can see here all of the countries that are formal members of ELIXIR. So it's most of the countries that are active in bioinformatics in Europe are members of ELIXIR. And also we have an observer, Cyprus as well. So you can see that at its heart, ELIXIR brings together mainly, well, currently all European member states. But what I would like to try and get across is that there are lots of opportunities to collaborate internationally, globally, and all of the services and activities that our partners provide can be open to scientists all around the world as well. So, and I think that's a really important message. ELIXIR is the effort to try and coordinate bioinformatics services in Europe, in these member states, but we also want to do this globally, and the services that our partners provide are open for everyone to use. The structure that we use in ELIXIR to try and coordinate across countries is one where we have a small central hub, but all of the services and expertise in running these bioinformatics services, the data management expertise, the training courses, they're all provided in each country by ELIXIR nodes. And those nodes themselves vary in maturity, they vary in size, and they also vary in branding. So I'm sure many of you have heard of the European Bioinformatics Institute, EBI, and the Swiss Institute for Bioinformatics as well, which are very mature national data infrastructures in the case of SIB. But since ELIXIR was created, there's also been work done to create new national data infrastructures in, for example, Slovenia and Hungary, because before ELIXIR existed, there wasn't any national coordination efforts. And also in the case of DENBI, for example, you'll see the German national data infrastructure, although it has different branding and the national node is called DENBI. That's still the effort to connect and coordinate German bioinformatics infrastructures in that country. And so we're bringing a formal structure to this coordination across Europe, within countries of Europe. And then at the level of ELIXIR, we're trying to connect them to each other. And I'm really looking forward to hearing the presentations in a moment from our colleagues in Latin America to try and find out about what's happening in Brazil and Mexico and Argentina and other Latin America countries as well, just to see what national developments are taking place there. So that gives you an idea of how ELIXIR itself is structured. And altogether, we bring over 240 institutes in Europe together. And those institutes provide databases. So sometimes they are curated databases. Sometimes they're places where scientists can put data, deposition databases. They run lots of software, workflows, algorithms, registries for software. They also run lots of training courses and materials. My colleague Katerina will tell you a bit more about those in a moment. We also do a lot of work to try and make data interoperable. So findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable through standards, for example. And also many of these countries have national computing facilities that scientists can access as well. And one of the other activity areas that our partners are active in is providing data management support. And you'll hear in a moment from my colleague Frederick about ELIXIR's activities in the research data management field as well. So there are hundreds, over 400 services in ELIXIR that our ELIXIR nodes run, which are available to scientists all around the world. And I'll give you an indication of where you can find these in a moment. So this is a place to go to if you're interested in finding out more about what services are available. So you can look on the services tile to see a full list of those 400 services as well. Or you can look at other tiles if you're just interested in guidance about data management or about software sustainability. You can have a look at our guidance. Or for example, if you're wanting to look at a web portal to try and find out training materials or standards or which software or workflows to use, you can access the web portal tile to find out ELIXIR services that will help you there as well. We also have an active industry engagement program where we collaborate and encourage ELIXIR nodes to collaborate with companies. And we also frequently partner with other organizations on EU projects. And in fact, our contribution to this webinar today is through the ELIXIR Converge EU-funded project as well. So that gives you an idea about some of the services that we offer. If I just go a little bit more deeply into some of these areas, our partners run deposition databases, which can be used by scientists all around the world. So for example, depositing sensitive human data can be done in the European Genome Archive. Depositing functional genomics data can be done in the Array Express data. So there's a list of around 12 deposition databases, which we encourage scientists to put their data in to help fulfill a national data management mandate that they might have, and to ensure that other scientists can best reuse that as well. And putting data into these databases are all free of charge. And actually, you'll probably recognize that many of these are part of international collaborations as well, where they're already collaborating with other similar databases run in other world regions as well. So that's a set of resources that you can use if you're looking to deposit or access data for your own research. I mentioned the importance of interoperability, where we have a set of recommended interoperability resources. This list is maintained by ELIXIR partners, and the idea is that if you want to make your data sets fair, these are a set of resources that will help you do that. It includes registries of standards, for example, identifiers.org as well, so you can put an identifier onto your data sets. You can search for the right ontology to use to describe your data sets and metadata through the ontology lookup service. So we've got this set of recommended resources that are free of charge and that everyone can use to hopefully make their data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Now, my colleague Katerina will tell you more about something called TESS. That's ELIXIR's training registry. So I won't spend too much time on it, but like many of the activities in ELIXIR, it's free and available for everyone around the world to use and also contribute to as well, because this is a registry, it's a portal that you and your colleagues can access, and you can also put your training materials in there if you want to as well. Another thing I would like to mention is that we've been building up a job portal on the ELIXIR website. And so if you are either looking for jobs, this is a good place for you to search if you're interested in bioinformatics and data-related roles, or actually if you're wanting to get extra visibility for job vacancies that you have in your team at the moment. It's free of charge. We currently have about 30 to 40 vacancies on there, and it's available for anyone, regardless of where you are, to just upload your bioinformatics related post to here and help increase the visibility of it as well. And then one other thing I would mention and like to finish on is just to give you an idea about how you can stay in touch with us as well. So you can follow us on social media via our Twitter and LinkedIn accounts. We also have a set of videos, which is through our YouTube channel, and we regularly run webinars on individual activities and services in ELIXIR, and also events as well. Now, some of these are open to researchers all around the world, and many of them are virtual. Obviously, all of the webinars are as well. So if you're interested in some of these themes that you've heard about, make sure to check out our webinar page where you can stay in touch with us as well. So hopefully that's given you a very short summary of what ELIXIR is about, and given you some ideas for how you can benefit, how you can be using some of these activities, and potentially how we can collaborate as well. So with that, I'll finish my presentation and hand back over to Jose Maria.
Thank you, Andrew. And as you know, the discussion will be at the end. So we follow now with 4 presentations from societies across Latin America. And we start with Javier de las Rivas from the Cancer Research Center, also a member of the National Institute of Bioinformatics. Javier, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity of presenting a little bit of the scenario in Latin America of the people that are working in bioinformatics and computational biology, mainly people from the scientific and research area and the academia, because after this nice presentation by ELIXIR, I have to say that maybe what we lack in Latin America is the resources and the services in common. So this is like a presentation of who are trying to work in the development of bioinformatics in this large region. So to start, it's very clear to say that Latin America is not a small region, it's a vast region, it's larger than close to most of the American continent, of course, includes more than 30 nationalities and 650 million people. So it's a large territory, a large region of the world, and many countries involved in that. So what the people working in research and in academia, in computational biology and bioinformatics, we started to work together some years ago and created a sort of interaction, collaboration through different means. And one of the first means that was funded in 2009 was SOIBIO, that is a society, Sociedad Iberoamericana of Bioinformatics, that now includes 20 countries in Latin America, plus because of let's say cultural and funding reasons, Spain and Portugal were also in that. So together with SOIBIO, that is a sort of international transnational organization in Latin America. There are currently 7 national societies on bioinformatics in Latin America, that are the one in Argentina, Asociación Argentina de Bioinformática and Biología Computacional, that we are going to have a talk about this society later on. Also, Brazil, the Associação Brasileira of Bioinformatics and Biología Computacional, and BioCanet, that is a Central American Network of Bioinformatics and Molecular Biocomputing, the one in Mexico, and Red Mexicana de Bioinformática, the one in Colombia, Sociedad Colombiana de Bioinformática y Biología Computacional, the one in Chile, Sociedad Chilena en Bioinformatics, en Bioinformática, and the one in Peru. Some of them are very recently born, for example, the one in Chile last year, and also the one in Peru was born as initial initiative in 2019, but really funded legally last year, so they are quite recent. My idea when I was preparing this presentation is just to introduce to what are the stakeholders, the actors on bioinformatics and computational biology in Latin America, knowing that these societies are critical players in this scenario. And I also contact all these people of different societies trying to do, because we would like to do like a white paper, what is the state of the art of the bioinformatics in the region nowadays. So, very briefly, Argentina, we are going to have a representative from Argentina. The society was born in 2009, and we will have later specific information about the Sociedad Argentina. The oldest and the most powerful society is, as the country you can imagine, is Brazil, the Associação Brasileira of Bioinformatics and Biología Computacional, that was founded in 2004. And for example, we have this review, but some of the members of the society that was published this year on past, present, and future genomics and bioinformatics in the Brazilian scenario. That is a very nice review. Also, Mexican Society, la Red Mexicana de Bioinformática, that now the president is Alejandra Medina, and we will have a representative of the society talking to us later, and that was born 3 years ago, in 4 years ago, 2018. And some of them, the most recent, I just finished with the most recent. There are 7 of them, as I said. This is the one in Peru that was funded last year and started to promote a little bit of the computational biology and informatics in Peru. And this is very important because so far SOIBIO and also the computational biology was not doing a lot of effort in this country. Okay, so SOIBIO is an international society in the region, and we have a very good agreement with the International Society of Computational Biology, so we are contributed affiliated. And we have, well, this is the web page of SOIBIO, but we are promoting la interaction in these countries in Latin America, and the main promotion that we have done is through many, let's say, conferences like these ones. Was funded, as you say, you see in Puerto Morelos in Mexico in 2009. Was the foundation of the legal foundation of the society, and we've been having every year a meeting in different parts of Latin America, starting with Chile, Brazil, Chile again, Argentina, Mexico, and so on, Colombia. And then you can see the years. But what is very interesting is that we got this agreement with the International Society of Computational Biology to organize with them the Latin American meeting every even year. As you can see there, has been in the last 5 events. This will be this year in Querétaro, in Mexico, in November. And for the future, well, this is very important, as you can see in this meeting. The ECCB comes together again, and we can talk about science and research and all our efforts in computational biology. And we are now planning the next 2 meetings will be the next one, 2013, hopefully 23, sorry, in Peru, and the next one that we are also in talks with ICCB will be in Colombia. So we did a brief study some years ago of what is the situation of the bioinformatics in Latin America, and I just showed you a little study done on this paper that we published together with the people of Mexico. And here you can see what we did here is we took all the PubMed research done on computational biology and bioinformatics in these 25 years, from 1991 to 2016. And in total, we managed to trace 2,100 papers. And here you can see where the origin of these papers. You can see that Brazil is a very active country. More than 1,000 papers of this data set come from Brazil, or people from Brazil involved in the paper, or the original institution in Brazil. So later on, Mexico, Argentina are the most active, and this is interesting because it told us a little bit of the scenario, this is the interaction, how the papers are co-authors of people with Brazil and Mexico, or Mexico, Argentina, the different papers which were published, and so on. So we did this study to see what is the state of the art. And what we realized is that if we do this on an average for the worldwide, the number of papers published in Latin America was close to 1/3 the average of worldwide. So still we have a lot of possibility of developing the area for research and also for academia, of course. There are many other very interesting initiatives that have been promoting and helping the bioinformatics in Latin America. For example, this is a project funded by the British government, by the government of UK through the EBI. That was a project of 4 years where they funded several institutions in Latin America to promote cooperation and interaction and development of computational biology in the region. And in fact, Cabana was supporting some of these events, as you can see, 2018 in Chile, in Viña del Mar, or the one now in Querétaro. Well, the one that was online in Querétaro, sorry, because we had the 220, was online only, was also supported by Cabana, and the one in Montevideo as well. So another initiative very interesting is Women in Bioinformatics and Data Science in Latin America. That was an event organized 2 years ago and was quite successful with a lot of communications and people interacting. And here women you were very active and nice. This is a sort of activities that are in the region that are quite nice to come together to share our research and our scientific discovery. Recently, through SOIBIO, we managed to get some funding and set up this network that is a Red Iberoamericana Inteligencia Artificial and Big Biodata that has been funded by CITED. CITED is an international organization funded where Portugal and Spain are, and also the many Latin American countries put the money for promote research and development in the region, in Latin America, and we have funded for this project, this network grant for 4 years, the 2024, and is, as you can see, focused on artificial intelligence in the region. And we have there 10 countries with 35 research groups and more than 60 institutions. So this is what I wanted to say, just to say that this is the scenario that we have in Latin America. I think is promising, but as I said at the beginning, what do we need in Latin America? Many times the resources and the infrastructure, because all the societies are, at the end, we are just people or a research group of institutions that are from academia or research centers that are trying to promote computational biology, but still there is a lot of lack of coordination and efforts in resources and infrastructure. Also, I have to say that, as I said at the beginning, SOIBIO, we are also very much involved in the collaboration with the International Society, and also we are members of GOBLET. And thank you.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you very much. And now we are going to have 3 remote presentations from 3 societies. Hopefully everything is going to go fantastic with Zoom. We start with Brazil. We start with Marcelo Brandão. 18 years after foundation, it is time to divide and conquer. And he's from Campinas, who is one of the main areas. They have the synchrotron, they have many heavy and large research infrastructure there. So Marcelo, please. Marcelo, no te escuchamos. No te escuchamos. No te ¿Algún tema de mute del micrófono? We don't hear you, Marcelo. No. It seems that you are muted.
Well, apparently I don't have...
Now.
Yes, but when I share my screen, it says that I cannot... I'm not allowed to share my audio during the presentation. Let's try a different way. Well, let's try to hack the Zoom here. And hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay, yes, we have relations, love and hate with Zoom. And we start to develop a few hacks that it's cheaper than throw your laptop through the window. So let's start over. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here to present our association. It's called the Brazilian Association for Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, Associação Brasileira de Bioinformática e Biologia Computacional. The idealization of the society was in 2002, when a group of researchers in Angra dos Reis, this beautiful city, has been asked for how to integrate the newly created genomics with the computational science. And they got to idea that, well, we need association that bring all this expertise together. And in 2004, AB3C was created, and Ana Teresa Vasconcelos was its first president. In fact, here's a curious fact. AB3C ran many years at Ana Teresa's house. So she was the president and the owner of the facility that where AB3C was running out. Well, AB3C was founded on 3 pillars. The first is to bring together people, institutions interested in foresting the progress and bioinformatics and computational biology. This is really strong now at the society. We are trying to connect not only the institutions that are made in research, but also we are trying to connect to other societies. X meeting is the international conference for AB3C. Last year, we have a presentation with Chilean association and some guys from Argentina. And we are also trying to talk with the grant institutions. I think this is the most challenging things for one scientific society, is when you try to put in the government the importance that bioinformatics has for the whole society and for whole academic world. The other founding pillars was trying to encourage the research. At the end of the presentation, you're gonna see one of these actions we're doing is called Be Bioinformaticians. We're going to a lot of conference trying to explain people that what they are doing is bioinformatics. It's not only genetics, it's not only population genetics, evolution, drug discovery. And this is what we are trying to focus now, especially on the undergrad students, trying to show them that bioinformatics is going to be the language of the future science. In fact, one of the universities here in Campinas, the Campinas University, is one of the largest on Latin America. Now they're going to have a program called Bioinformatics as a Second Language. And this is where the AB3C is trying to bring people together, to bring brains together, fresh ideas for the bioinformatic fields. And this closes with third pillar, is to contribute to formation of new professionals. I think we have a great opportunity now to try to harvest new people, to bring them to bioinformatics, to bring fresh ideas to the fields of analyzing biomolecular data. We are trying to demonstrate on different professionals like engineers, chemicals, engineer chemistry, that bioinformatics is one of the key points to help them to solve a lot of problems. And this is where we are now. AB3C is trying to connect things, is trying to work as a facilitator of all these connections. But following the title of this presentation, it's time to divide and conquer. Because here, it's just what some numbers from 2013 for 2020. We are here presenting that 80% of all the associated to AB3C come from only 4 states in Brazil: for São Paulo, Minas Gerais, Paraná, and Rio de Janeiro. And we have here a large portion, it's called here others. It's like 5% of all the states in Brazil are underrepresented inside the bioinformatics society. And here the distribution of those others here. So on 2015, during the Professor Alan Dugan on the presidency of the AB3C, they have an idea to divide Brazil in regionals. So we change our bills and our statutes to make this possible. And in 2021, we started all the regionals. And we have divided in 3 main regionals. It's the North and Northeast, Central East and Southeast, and South. To do this, we face a few problems. Well, there is, let's let back just a little bit. The central board, the board of directors of AB3C, many times all these groups, most of these groups on North and Northeast, and here in the South, are under the board of directors radar. They are working as a separate groups inside all its states and make collaborations inside those groups. And the idea of this regional is try to pinpoint, to bring them to the surface and say, okay, we have a group here. So how can we integrate this group with the whole state and the whole regional? And we face the first problem, how to do it. So each regional has a board of directors. It's independently from the AB3C board of directors, but in some ways they depend on our approval for a few things. The second thing, we need to give them a budget. So on this first year, we provide all the regionals with a budget. It's not much, it's about 10,000 reais each. And to make all the events, all the actions that they need to do to first say, okay, we are a bioinformatics society and we are here to help. We are here to integrate all the ideas. And this actually worked. I'm going to show you few things that happened. And 2020, 2021, we have now a wider number of states that we have representation inside the AB3C. It's noteworthy here that we have now the southeast part and the northeast part growing and about 10 times from association from the previous prior period of the regionals. And we have now a lot of new ideas come from these groups. Let me put here, we still have the X meeting. The X meeting is the main event of the AB3C. And we have a shift on our logistics and idea for X meeting. We are always on the second semester. Even we have 2 years that we made X meeting with SOIBIO. It was on Belo Horizonte, and I think it was, I don't remember. It was 2 times we have the SOIBIO. So, but in the second semester, most of the conferences in Brazil are clocked together. So we are disputing grants, we're disputing financial help for this. Also, we are disputing subscribers for all this conference. So now X meeting is shift for the first semester. And next year, we're going to be in Paraná and the city of Curitiba on the first week of June. So everyone is invited to come. But besides of the X meeting, now we have the advanced schools in bioinformatics. We have one in Paraná. We are going to have one the second semester on Rio Grande do Sul, Bahia, and we are planning one in São Paulo in the city of Campinas. The other thing that we have been here that is helping a lot to know other groups that are working on the bioinformatics is support for regional events. We have one on grad students in Campinas on January this year. It's called GB Meeting. And which was great because lots of students trying to trying to learn more about bioinformatics. And this was, we have a result this on the students are asking when the X meeting is going to be. How do I start on bioinformatics? The same thing has happened on Belo Horizonte. We're going to have one at the genetics grad program. This is the same thing. And the other side is the collaboration with other society. Last week, we have this Brazilian Society of Genetics conference. And inside of this conference, we have the DROPS X meeting. It's a part of X meeting that we bring researchers to talk about bioinformatics. This week is happened the BSB, Brazilian Conference of Bioinformatics, the BSB. And it's also, the AB3C is also there. And we are trying to put all this idea from the computational engineering, bring it to the to bioinformatics. And to not get too long, this is what this is our 4 of our ideas that we are doing now. We are strongly using social media to communicate with the professional bioinformaticians and future bioinformaticians. This is a community that we have created in Twitter. It's called Bioinfo Brazil. Its idea is to integrate all the students and professionals on this social media. We have on the early this year, we have this idea is what is a bioinformatician? How you became a bioinformatician. So it was a series of posts that explaining how to become a bioinformatician. We're going to start now. This new action is called Be Bioinformatician, Seja Bioinformata. It's that most of students doesn't know that he are doing bioinformatics. So we try to show them what is bioinformatics, the beauty of bioinformatics, to bring them to the bright side of the science using bioinformatics. And we now have the merit for the Medal of Scientific Society. It's a medal that we are giving to them. The people that are made things for bioinformatics. So last year, Professor Guilherme Oliveira from ITV was the first awardee, and this year, Professor Alan Duhan from USP University. Well, just to close my talk, we're social. Please follow us on social media. We are open to questions, to collaborations, to do whatever you want to make bioinformatics a great part of science. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for offering invitation. Yes.
Thank you, and you know, Marcelo, that the discussion is going to be at the end. So we go straight to the next one that is coming from Mexico, Shirley Alquicira-Hernández, Creating Paths for the Development and Application of Bioinformatics in Mexico. Shirley?
Yes, thank you, Jose Maria. Let me share my presentation. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Greetings from Mexico. First, I would like to thank the organizing committee for the invitation. Today, I'm here to talk about our organization, Red Mexicana de Bioinformática, called RMB, and how we create paths for the development and application of bioinformatics in Mexico. I will start by telling a bit of history of how the RMB was created. The Center for Genomic Science of UNAM, called CCG, was carrying out actions to improve bioinformatics skills, mainly for students, but also for researchers, technicians, and the general public, through workshops, seminars, and courses, among others. Promoting bioinformatics in Mexico and Latin America. To achieve this, several efforts were made, first at the local level, starting in 2006, with a single group from CCG community. Then from 2010, we started with several events at the national level. By the way, since this year, they have been held continuously. In 2012, we began with international participation, and it should be noted that one of the key points of the success of our programs is that they have been focused on a Spanish and speaking audience. Through these years, groups and institutions have come together to provide support, help, and resources, forming a stable community. So in 2018, this big community organized itself to have a group that integrates and supports all these initiatives. This is how the RMB was formed, which aims to promote the organized collaboration of all of projects. The RMB is an initiative, a civil initiative that has the mission to promote the development and expansion of the bioinformatics culture in our country, Mexico, and Latin America under a model of organized collaboration. To do all this work, the RMB, as you can see, is organized in different levels and nodes. Our team has a president who has the organization whole vision, and a secretary and a treasurer who do administrative tasks. Besides, each node has a responsible person in charge of executing many different activities to allow us to have an organized team. For example, the memberships node is in contact with the members. The management project node is responsible for monitoring all the projects that are carried out. The Congresses node organize all work related to this kind of meetings. The teaching node manages all the courses, workshops, and collaboration with other groups. The students node seeks to promote the participation of the students member to do integrated activities to share knowledge. All these people, with the support of other members, they help the RMB to work in these action areas. For example, teaching focuses on developing courses, workshops, and all related activities. Outreach to make bioinformatics knowledge accessible. Besides, to make alliances between teaching and searching, generating knowledge to the community, like databases, software, forums, and more, and go ahead to the informatics and carry on research in related areas. Thanks to the collaborations that the RMB has done, paths have been created that allow us to promote the development and expansion of the bioinformatics culture. We work with many different groups in Mexico, like CCG of UNAM, the Comunidad de Desarrolladores de Software, the Nodo Nacional de Bioinformática of UNAM too, la Unidad Universitaria de Secuenciación Masiva of Institute of Biotechnology of UNAM too, and Institute of Mathematics of UNAM, and Our Ladies Mexico. Also, we work with international groups with whom we make alliances. For example, the ECCB Society of Computational Biology, with whom in the union with the Iberoamerican Society for Bioinformatics and us, we are organizing the International Conference on Bioinformatics that will be held in November in Querétaro, Mexico, in person and in virtual attendance. On the other hand, we are working with the Latin American and Caribbean Forum on Bioinformatics Education to carry on a meeting for representatives and parties interested in including and maintaining academic programs in bioinformatics, genomic sciences, computational biology, and related disciplines, and other institutions like American Parkinson's Disease Association, the Universidad del Bosque from Colombia, the Proyecto País from Argentina, are groups with which we have developed projects, workshops, and courses. Well, another important part of the RMB is our members. Currently, the RMB has 761 members, and we work to offer them many different benefits. Some of them are discounts on workshops organized or collaborating with the RMB, fellowships for congresses, exclusive access to mini courses monthly, and other like talks, seminars, advising, and more benefits. One of the benefits or the main benefits for our members is the mini courses that occurs once a month. The purpose of these courses is provide continuous training to people interested in bioinformatics. We usually contact our members specialized in an area or topic, and together we prepare the content and activities for the course. We have provide mini courses in different levels, from basic to advanced level, focusing in Python or R programming language, graphing, and Unix, and more topics. To give all this information to our members, we have our website and use social networks like Facebook and Twitter. You can find our website on redmexicanabioinformatica.org, on Facebook like Red Mexicana de Bioinformática, and on Twitter like R Informática. For special requests, users can send us a message through email using the address contacto@redmb.org, and membresías, to know about more memberships, people can send us a message through membresías@redmb.org. Another important thing for us is to help spread the work that we are doing. So for that reason, we use our social networks for advertising, besides our events, activities of our members, acknowledgement received from our members, special dates or ephemeris, and offer jobs, and among others. Before we finish, we invite you to join our group and get many benefits. Also, if you are interested in help in the internal activities, you are welcome too. And well, in the name of the Red Mexicana de Bioinformática, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thanks for the organizers to inviting us and giving us the opportunity to share a little bit of our work. And thank you so much. We back with Jose Maria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shirley. So we are going to the last presentation on Latin American societies. Is the one from Argentina. So Nicolás, do we have him on the screen, or? Nicolás?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. So go ahead, please. 10 minutes.
Thank you, I will share. So, I think you are seeing my screen, yes. Okay, thank you. I would like to thank Javier de las Rivas, Salvador Capella, and the organizers of this webinar and of the ECCB 2022 for this opportunity. My name is Nicolás Palopoli, and I'm here today as Secretary of the Argentinian Association of Bioinformatics and Computational Biology. I'm an adjunct researcher here in Argentina in CONICET. I also teach bioinformatics, and I coordinate meta-docencia and online community for open education. Today, I will present you a brief history of the first 10 years of our association and how we, I think, succeeded in getting through the pandemic over the last 3 years. And I hope that by showing you what we actually did over these years, you get a strong idea of how the association tries to work towards supporting the local and regional communities. The beginnings of bioinformatics in Argentina might be traced back to the National University of La Plata, a very traditional institution that in the 1990s hosted a Microvax computer with the Wisconsin package of bioinformatics programs that provided remote access to that. It was also in La Plata where Oscar Grau led the creation of the Argentinian node of EMBNet or EMBNet in 2003, probably the first node in Latin America of this European organization. And it was also during these days that we had the first courses on bioinformatics that were jointly organized by different organizations across Latin America, for example, CABIO, the Argentine-Brazilian Center of Biotechnology. A milestone for bioinformatics in Argentina was the creation in 2006 of the first university degree in bioinformatics offered by the public National University of Entre Rios. And maybe as a sign of the increasing relevance of the field within the research community here, in 2007 came the first publication reviewing the situation of computational biology in Argentina, led by Gustavo Parisi, who will then be one of the presidents and founders of the association. So during 2080, some early career researchers who were either coming back to the country or starting to lead their own groups in bioinformatics got to know each other through courses and other training opportunities and professional activities. And they managed to organize the first activity that was jointly hosted by these future members of the Argentine Association of Bioinformatics and Computational Biology. It was a workshop in computational biology of proteins that took place in the National University of Quilmes. This is a small university in the suburbs outside Buenos Aires, and also where I study and work. And the good thing about this workshop is that it helped to strengthen the bonds and enlarge the already existing network that will soon lead to the establishment of the A2B2C, our association. So indeed, the association was legally established in October 2009. It took its name and its acronym from the Brazilian counterpart, the AB3C, so that was our inspiration. And well, you can see some of the founders there. The time has passed for us all, but you may still recognize some of the founding members in the picture. There were, for example, Cristina Marino. She was the first president of our association. Then came others like Gustavo Parisi, Fernanda Agüero, Ignacio Ponzoni, Elizabeth Tapia, who's not in the picture, and our current president is Sebastián Fernández Alberti. During the first 10 years of the association, that is between 2010 and 2019, we held 10 annual meetings that took place in 10 different locations all around the country to support the different local communities. We had support from different public and private institutions to organize these, and they also helped us to offer fellowships for participation and prizes for the best talks, all the usual. Maybe the highlight was in 2016, where we jointly organized the ECCB Latin American meeting in Buenos Aires. We also offered many training courses along the years, some as satellite activities of our annual meetings, usually co-organized with the RSG Argentina, so the regional student group of Argentina, affiliated to the ECCB Student Council. Indeed, the association and the RSG Argentina were created almost together and have worked side by side during all these years, and regardless of any change in leadership. The association itself has been also involved in public outreach activities and has been a frequent counselor of national institutions of science and research. Then in early 2020, the pandemic arrived and forced us to stop and think again. So we started to meet virtually, and I must say it helped us a bit to get together. Before the pandemic, our meetings were mostly in person or rather informal. It was never easy to get all the members of the association together due to the distances and different commitments. We're always a volunteer-led community, so no one got paid for doing our community work. So it was hard to get together, but once we made a switch to online environments, then we started to plan what will be our future activities. So by mid-2020, we realized the pandemic would not be over as soon as we wanted, and we decided to cancel the 11th edition of the annual meeting, which was planned for November 2020. Instead, and since we didn't want to leave people alone, we focused on our social media as a primary means of communication with our community. So we relaunched we redesigned our institutional image, commissioned a new logo, a visual identity brand, a new guidelines on how to approach the public. And we also restarted our Facebook and Twitter accounts and opened an Instagram profile and a YouTube channel. And these are now our main ways to communicate with people interested in bioinformatics in Argentina and abroad. During these years also, we duplicated the number of active partners by inviting both renowned and upcoming leaders of the bioinformatics community in the country to take an active role into our organization. During these pandemic years, we hosted 27 online seminars, which were open and free, from 16 men and 11 women who are either group leaders or early career researchers in bioinformatics, all Argentinians but working in the country or abroad, and with diverse interest in various fields of bioinformatics. Well, these videos are available for you to check on YouTube, and they have a lot of views up to now. We also hold many workshops. These were at least 15-hour workshops online, synchronous, with dedicated to teaching the computer part of bioinformatics. So we taught how to do data analysis with R, or Python programming oriented biology, machine learning, the Julia programming language. And we are about to have another call for the introduction to the analysis of data with R, which will be held by late October, I think. So in 2021, we brought back our annual meeting after one year hiatus. It was the first online edition. It was a free meeting that had 7 regular tracks, plus 1 special symposium from IDP-FAM. This is a consortium of Argentinian and European laboratories funded by the Horizon 2020 scheme to study intrinsically disordered proteins. So we were able to host many of the European partners into our meeting. We also had 21 presentations from many renowned international speakers and 24 flash talks selected from submissions, among 82 accepted posters and 4 satellite workshops. So these 2 years of the pandemic made us end 2021 a bit exhausted, and we noted that the community was feeling a bit of the online burnout too. So in 2022, we decided to push the brake a bit and focus on the internal organization of the association while we started to build the next steps. And this led now to being back online and really to meet the community again. We are going back to an in-person event this year. After 2 years, we are finally hosting the 12th annual meeting of the association in Corrientes next November. We will have invited speakers from Argentina and the region and Europe, along with selected talks and submissions for satellite workshops. Before this meeting, we will be supporting the regional student group of Argentina on its 7th annual symposium of young researchers in bioinformatics, a hybrid event that will take place in Tucumán in early October. This will be, you will be able to follow online too. And before I finish, I have a couple of slides left. I would like to call your attention to some friendly communities that play an important role in the bioinformatics scenario in Latin America and the Caribbean and Spain. I already mentioned that the RSG Argentina is very active, but I can't stress enough that there's a very active community of regional student groups in Spanish-speaking countries. 9 of these RSGs have recently got together to organize the Symposium of Spanish-speaking Students of Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, the I would call it SEH2 Bioinfo. This is the first cooperative symposium of RSGs, which gave a great environment to promote inclusion, access to knowledge, and especially an active participation from students in all levels. And just to show you a brief part of where these networks can lead, not only they help to create long-lasting connections, they can also lead to fruitful collaborations. For example, many of the founding members of the RSG Argentina published in 2021 Vida.exe, Challenges and Adventures in Bioinformatics. That's a printed science dissemination book from a major publisher across Latin America. Some of the recommended events that we support, the Community of Women in Bioinformatics and Data Science of Latin America is holding their 3rd annual meeting, started today, with this I finished. We will also be present in this year's Latin American Caribbean Forum on Bioinformatics Education, a hands-on meeting to discuss bioinformatics education in the region. It will be virtual and in November this year. We selected our new authorities who will lead A2B2C until May 2024. We have a diverse board with Sebastián Fernández Alberti as president, Lucia Chemes as vice president, and a big board, very representative, and many active members who contribute in different roles like social media, graphic design, community building, and other activities. So with this, I close. Thank you very much for your time, and I would like to be open to collaborations.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, we have finished the presentation from society.